mutas, you can switch back into another composition if you think the muta count is starting to get lower, right? Maybe he's getting too dependent on Stalkers and Phoenixes. You can switch right back into Ling and anything else ground for Zerg and still do a ton of damage. So I really like how Departure played that. I thought it was pretty smart.
Departure played that out really well. As we move on to our next game, as I mentioned before, Cura against Forte. It's a TVT. Here in Korea, actually, Cura is known for being quite the TVT player. He's very strong at that matchup.
He's really good at that.
Really good at that, and especially with how the matchup has changed, the Tankovacs, as I guess we'll call him in this situation.
We're going to call him Tankovacs now?
Tankovacs? Well, what else are you going to tell him? Like Medivacs with tanks attached to them?
Meditanks? I mean, we could mix it up. I don't know. No, but it's Siegevacs. Yeah, I mean, they are always in siege mode. I mean, to what you were saying, though, in all seriousness, I think, yeah, if he's got the harass and the multitasking down, and Terran vs. Terran's a pretty demanding matchup when it comes to multitasking, I voted for him to
yeah, I voted for him as well.
Yeah.
I mean, even in Brood War, when he was like a little nubbin, Q's matchup was Terran versus Terran, so it's good to see that his skill in TVT in Brood War has transitioned to Starcraft 2. He's shown it in Heart of the Swarm, and hopefully he'll show it here in Legacy of the Void.
Yeah, let's see. We should be bringing our players out shortly here. Remember, if MVP loses any more games, it's over. Jin Green Wings is going to take this. Basically, MVP has to keep the streak alive this game and then on to the ace match. So a lot of pressure for him here. And remember, after this, assuming that MVP does win, we will be going on into the ace match. That's where it might be tough to call. Even though Jin Green Wings, I would say, is overall, at least in my opinion, a better team. If you take the two best players in a team, it can be a real toss-up as far as who's going to move on.
For sure, as we see both players here, Cura and Forte. And Cura doesn't really have that well of a Pro League record, but you got to remember this also involves brutal Pro League matches. And Cura actually he used to be on the team Hwasong Oz with Jadong and stuff. And he was used a lot by the coaches on Hwasong Oz, but he didn't really perform that well on the team, so that's why his Pro League record is not that impressive. But coming to StarCraft 2, he's found his stride here as a TVT specialist. And
he was ranked 1 on the ladder as well.
Yeah, so
that's actually always exciting.
So
and especially if it's just a one, not like a best of 3 or anything with 2 players. It's just one game. I mean, that means the laddering guy should have an edge, right?
Yeah.
You should be able to take a game off of anybody. And look at this. 4-to-1 odds here amongst the commentators.
Yeah, so it looks like Pastor Che is believing in Forte, but we're going to go straight into this game here. Cura versus Forte on our map.
Prion Terraces. I got your back. In the bottom right, in the red.
Cool.
Oh, no, I did it. You're right. I went GSL mode there. Sorry, guys. Here. In the other place is Forte. I lost my thunder there. It's hard, man. It's hard going from the 2 different shows. It shouldn't be, but it is. So we see already our observers highlighting the gold bases here because the gold bases are pretty good. In a mirror matchup, you would think, at least theoretically, both players can take the gold base at the same time.
This map, Prion Terraces, is quite funky in the fact that there are a lot of gold bases. And especially in a matchup like Terran versus Terran, where it's arm positioning is the #1 priority in this matchup. It's going to be really interesting to see how both players approach taking those gold bases. As we see here, 2 barracks here from Cura, so we're going to see those double Reapers.
Cool. Well, let's see what happens with this.
Yep.
Is Forte going to be ready? I mean, here is definitely a bright player. Let's see what he can do. also we want to keep our eyes peeled for when Forte decides to expand.
Interesting point to note out here is that Forte, rather, is going for the double gases. So it looks like, oh, excuse me, looks like he wants to tech straight to the factory, maybe get a Banshee out with Cloak after that factory's done getting that starport. But we'll see how much damage this double barracks achieves Akira right now.
We see the depot being put down here in the bottom right side of Forte's base. That is the spot for Reapers. I'm also wondering, when is he going to send the Reapers directly in there? Does he pool up a small number and then go out? Let's keep our eyes open for that as well. Interestingly, despite the fact that it's a double barracks play, it's in fact going to be our Gen Air player Cure going for the command center the earlier point in time here.
Yeah, so it looks like that. Oh, Cure's actually going for the upper ground command center, which is quite interesting. As you see, one Reaper, one Hellion being built for Forte, and I bet you that will be linked up with a medevac play, because Hellions and Reapers do a lot of damage against light units. As we see here, Forte scouting that second barracks. We'll see how he reacts to this. I think he's just going to move back with that Reaper and prepare for the incoming attack that Q might be doing.
Yeah, so he's going to be a bit on the defense. Kind of an odd situation. Cure is going to have... Oh, I like this interception.
And, this Reaper might catch up to this Reaper of Forte. We'll see how this goes.
We have the Reapers in pursuit here. Nice dodge there. Goes right around that and get out.
So that Reaper of Forte does go down, as we see. Okay, it is going to be Banshee.
Now, the Banshee play might be really strong against a player who went double racks Reaper. Even though he doesn't have a ton of Reapers, he has less Marines because he did this. So let's see how much damage the Banshee can actually get in here and do.
But we also got to see how much damage these Reapers of Cure are going to do as well, because it might get to a point where these Reapers do get way too much damage than Forte can handle, and as a result, if that ever happens, if he loses too many SCVs, he could fall way behind.
So we got another command center. This time it's going to be for Forte. He's getting this much later. What he's hoping to do is do enough damage to balance this game out or even get ahead. And he has to use that that Banshee and possibly the rest of his ground army to pull that off. It's also possible that we'll have the one Reaper, or actually the two Reapers now here for Cure, try to run back inside of the main here for Forte if he moves out with the rest of his army.
Really peculiar move here from Cure, getting that Cyclone actually to counteract that Banshee that's coming out for Forte. As we see here, I don't really feel that that double racks opening from Cure did that much damage. It didn't really do any damage at all, actually. So he's quite behind at the moment because...
Well, TVT's funny because sometimes you can do these really different builds but end up in almost the same place depending on how things start to go. And the Banshee's actually going to come down here now, getting one SCV, but there is a Cyclone over here. He's targeted, but the Marines are actually getting in the way. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, it's on 40 HP. I feel that if that those Marines weren't in the way, that Cyclone could have definitely killed that Banshee there.
SCV's now mining over here. He's got the Viking. He should be able to just stalk this Banshee into knock him out of the game. Is he not going to stay on top of this? This really goes to show you how much dead space there is, by the way, back there in that bottom right location, or upper left for that matter. The second Banshee's now come in here. Pretty standard. He's going to go for the SCVs and is mining gas over here on the edge.
Looks like he decides to scan for this Banshee rather than one right. He's going to kill this Cyclone. Yes, the Banshee does go down. We'll see. Yep, that other Banshee actually went down as well to the Viking.
Okay, this is really bad now for Forte. With Cure being completely prepared. Okay, there is a third and a fourth Banshee's also being made.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if he should keep going with that Banshee play because...
I don't think so.
Cure's got those Cyclones out and they do a surprising amount of damage to those Banshees. You got to remember, Banshees don't really have that much HP relatively, so... And as we see here, the Cure's Reapers coming back to space. He's going to scout. That
nice scouting. This is really cool. I really like what he's doing here. Okay, he's going to try to send... Forte is going to try to send his Banshee in here. If we look at the tank count for the time being, it's going to be 1 tank to 2 right now. So it is, in fact, Cure's already ahead in the tank lead too. And this Banshee going to go down. We called this. I'm a little bit bummed out that he even tried to do a strategy like that and still sending another Banshee. I mean, there's a point in time where this is going to become comical if he keeps moving these across the map like this.
Yeah, it just feels like a waste of gas, to be honest, because Banshees are very gas intensive. of a unit to invest in, and if they're not doing any damage, there's no point in getting him. You can easily invest that gas into other units such as tanks or even upgrades. As we see, Forte actually getting his own Cyclone. So that Cyclone is chased away by the own Cyclone of Kura, and this Banshee's doing a bit of damage actually, so...
Well, I think at this point in time, most people would not expect to have the 4th Banshee actually come in there and start hitting him.
See here, engineering base going down for Forte along with additional barracks. Same with Kura, so we're going to see that Medivac... Oh, actually, Kura's planning to go out here. So
well, he's going to push because he's going to have stim done, and he's going to have stim done before his opponent, and he's going to have more medevacs, and he has more tanks.
Also, he saw the fact that Forte was going for a quicker 3rd expansion, and I don't think that Kura is getting that his own 3rd command center up, so I guess he sees a timing where he can exploit the fact that he has more units than his opponent right now. As we can see on the supply count, 15 supply lead for Kura, so I think Forte is quite prepared for it. He has that bunker, he has those tanks, but I think in this point, Kura can actually ferry units across into the base of Forte.
Okay, he's going to try to actually drop these tanks up here onto the high ground. So far, Forte, though, doing a decent job here of holding this off, doing a lot with a little here. But as this goes on, it's Cure taking the gold base building right in that location. And even if he doesn't manage to break Forte in this position, oh, nice shots there. Even if he doesn't break Forte in this position, he should still be able to deny Forte from getting his own gold base at the same speed that Cure is.
This is definitely the move that Kura needed to do here, because he saw the fact that Forte was getting that 3rd command center, and we see actually a medevac flying by, Kura scouting that. We'll see how he reacts to that. As we see Kura just piling on the pressure right now, we'll see how much damage he can do. We saw him trying to elevate units into the base of Forte, but Forte was smart enough to deflect that. And if we see what's happening right now, it looks like Kura's just posturing at the front of the base because he does not want Forte to get that gold base up.
Oh, this is a nice drop over here, though. Man, if he could get that SCV and maybe even kill that command center. Oh, is it? Okay, it gets set in time. I thought he might have had a split second to get over there. Gunning down these SCVs.
But his one tank's not enough to deflect that attack, and this medevac drop is actually going to do a lot of damage. Actually, there's a Viking here. Does some damage on the medevac, but this medevac actually gets to drop all these Marines, and we'll see if Kura can defend from this.
Yep, he holds it, no problem. We don't see the command center being relocated over here to the gold, but already with Cure holding the gold, and I think he's going to be able to just walk over to this position. I've been talking about this a lot since Legacy of the Void has come back, but if you notice closely, it seems so far, at least in this current state of the meta, the Terran who's being aggressive with the pushes is almost always the one that ends up being the lead.
As we see here, these medevacs just healing at these SCVs. You do not want that as Cure, because medevacs, when they're healing those SCVs, it's just basically wasting energy. As we
Hold up!
Ooh, we see Forte trying to move out here, but a few tank shells from Cure stopping that.
He might just pick up the siege tanks and put them in a different location. Okay, he's picking most of this up. I was going to say, don't do that.
No. I think in this situation, Cure should move his tanks up to the upper ground. The problem is, though, if Forte actually sees that happening, he can easily just stim in and try and snipe those medevacs with the tanks. But it looks like Forte is just looking into just securing his 3rd base at the moment.
Yeah, Forte is just going to try to secure this. He's got to be careful because he's got his tanks and medevacs back far enough that oh, hold up, here we go!
As we see here, a big battle here. Forte with some really nice splits there from his Marines, trying to mitigate as much damage as he can from those siege tanks, but those Marines just get in
yeah,
and up.
You know what, none of the tanks were actually killed there for Cure. Yeah. Some of the tanks near the bottom were soaking damage. You can see they're all in the red or the orange, but they were not actually picked off, so in the end, the ground fight was won there.
There's really quite a poor engagement there from Forte. I felt that he could have got a better concave over that army of Cure, but Cure seeing the advantage now that he has, forcing Forte to lift off his 3rd base. And that actually goes down as well.
That may be economic checkmate here. I mean, losing that gold base like that is a big problem. And keep in mind, there's more than one gold base that Cure can take while this is going on, only doubling the advantage he already has.
And what I love about this map is that because you have so many gold bases, you have that extra mineral income, you can basically just build a trillion, like literally a trillion barracks, and you can just basically rally infinite Marines over. And without that gold base of Forte, it's going to be really hard for him to come back to this game.
All right, here we go. The Marines are stimming forward now, and there's just not enough left here for Forte as the remaining tanks are gunned down. GG!
Really impressive play there from Cure.
Very sexy, might I say. Might I add, I love the play there from Cure. He really shows a good game understanding. Also, I don't agree with the 4 Banshees. That was
800 gas. That is a lot of gas. And
yeah, I just don't see the logic in it. I mean, 1 to 2, sure, but you know, the medevac with the tank is so important in this matchup.
You need those medevacs out to support those tanks, and you don't, like in this matchup, in the early game, you only have that 1 Starfall to work with, so it was really mind-boggling, especially when that Cyclone came out for Cure, and you can see on the screen right now, Forte is bumped out.
He is a sad guy right now.
He's a sad guy, as...
Understandable, though. I mean, it's a lot of pressure on him, but he was just outplayed there by Cure, really reminding the world that Jin Air Green Wings is a force to reckon with.
And that's the reason why Jin Air Green Wings was the runner-up last season, was because they had a lot of strong players on that team, Cure, Rogue, and Murray included. As today we see Jin Air Green Wings taking the result 3-1 against MVP.
All right, we're not done yet. We're only halfway through our matches today. Who's playing next?
So our next matches will be CJ enters against Afrika Freaks. As going back to today's result for this matchup, Jin Air Green Wings taking a game over MVP Chicken Murray 3-1. Murray, Rogue, and Cure taking the wins out for Jin Air Green Wings, while for MVP, Departure was the only victor there for them.
Yeah, unfortunately no ace match for us today, but at least it wasn't a 3-0 clean sweep either.
Yeah, Departure actually playing really impressive that game. Hopefully we can get to see more of him as the weeks progress here at the Pro League 2016. And what is your highlight game from this series today?